Hello! Who knows what that was? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and I'm here again with another lesson run through of a song. And this is going to be the first one from the Trinity syllabus. This video has come about because of Henry Fuller 69 and Chris Scaforvd. Basically put a comment up on one of my other videos saying I really need some help with the rock and pop grade 5 song Alive, and I kind of was like, I don't have time, I'm doing this new rock school stuff. But I thought, you know what, I actually had a day free and I thought I'm going to learn it, and I started going through this song and I was like, you know what, it's not that bad. So this song, it's Alive by Pearl Jam. It's from the grade 5 Trinity book, and at first it was like, yeah, it's not too bad, it's quite easy, it's quite fun to play. So I didn't really get why they were asking and why they were struggling with it, and then I hit the solo at the end and I was like, oh dang, this one's tough. Yeah, that solo's a monster for grade 5, that's hard. And I actually have done a run through of this, and it was terrible. I kind of like should have done a better job, but I just don't have the time. I did 2 run throughs, and both were pretty rubbish. So I've used the first half of one, the solo of the second one, but the solo, I was just like, oh, I could have done that so much better. And I tried to keep it really simple, but it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But hey ho, it is what it is. I've done what I can. Remember, like, subscribe, comment below if you've got any questions or any other things. Go check out my Ko-fi if you want to send me any of your videos or your run-throughs. If you need any more like detailed help on things, I'll happily do that. And yeah, let's get into it without further ado. The thing I'm going to say about this, I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. So I'm going to do the first video is going to be like the majority of the song, bar the last 2 lines, and then I'll do a separate video if you just want to focus in on the solo. Mainly because there's going to be a lot to go through, it's going to be a lot to fit into one video, so I'm going to do it over 2. I hope that's okay. That's just the way I've decided to do it. Deal with it. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk tone first of all. Nice thing about this, it's quite high distortion. The guitar part is the thing you hear most of all, over, like, especially in that intro, it's quite obvious. So you want your mids a bit high, treble a bit high, and then your gain kind of high too, like over halfway, I would say. It's all a judgment call again. The thing I would say about this song though is just watch out for your dynamic marking. So the intro, the very first part is F forte, by the way. There's a little F on that first bar. And then when you hit what I would consider the verse in bar 8 on mine, it goes to MP, which is mezzo piano. So just be conscious of how loud and soft you're playing this thing as you go. My bar numbers might not be exactly the same as yours if you're looking in the book. I don't have the book here with me. I'm looking at the video I made of this, so take it with a pinch of salt. I'll put up the odd bar so you can see roughly where I am, but let's go through it. Okay, I'm going to put my guitar on clean so you can hear what I'm doing a bit. Okay, so straight in, this is F, so we're going to do nice and loud. Again, distortion's off, so it will sound a bit different. We've got a slide down from 7. Basically, that's 7 to 0 slide. Notice the 0 is a ghost note, so it's not like you have to go and then. It's just a kind of like start at 7 and just that's just how you start the song. So don't overthink that. We can hit those 2 zeros just before we go into what I've got as the second bar, where we hit that A5 chord. Okay. Now, the truth is, the best way to learn this is by ear. The best way to learn this is by listening to the song and learning the pattern by the timing of it. So that first A, I'm on bar 2 now. We've got the A5 chord on beat 1, and then that lasts 3/4 of a beat, and then we're sliding in to a 7 on the A string, right? It doesn't give you a starting point. So the whole point of this is that you kind of, we're just sliding up to that 7, and you're coming straight off that 7 onto the D string, and we're going to do a hammer on 0, 7, 9. So all together, from the beginning, we're going to go bow, ba, ba. No, we're not. That was terrible. Let's do that again. So that slide up to the 7, all of those notes are semiquavers or 16th notes. So it's, they're kind of all evens. You've got to get them quite quick. Now when you do that slide up from on the 7, make sure you're using your first finger so you're ready for the 0, 7, 9 in that bar. And then we kind of repeat that. And then towards the end of bar 3, we've got just like this string bend on the 9 here. Notice here, and this, if you didn't know this, it says a half a bend. Now, this is something I get a lot of, and a lot of people don't quite get this right. The difference between a full bend and a half bend, right? So we're on this 9, right? And a half a bend, you're taking that 9 up till it sounds like a 10. It's a semitone or a half tone. I call it a semitone. Hence the half, right? So that 9, we're going to bend till it sounds like a 10. Okay? And then coming back to the 7 after that. Notice the 7 is a pull-off. So once we've hit that 9, we're going to do the bend and then pull off. Like that. Okay? And we actually do that pattern, which is bar 2 and 3. We repeat that 4 times because you've got the repeat on bar 4 and 5. And then you repeat the whole thing again until you get to bar 6. I don't think I need to say too much more about that. There is a lot going on. But yeah, in terms of the string bend, because it's on the D string, I bent it down this way. Generally, I prefer to bend strings up this way because I feel like I have more control over it. But with that one, I bent it down. Don't think it really matters either way because it's only a half bend, so you can do either one. Okay, then we go on to bar 6, which is 6 in my book. And notice the time signature here is switched to 2/4, which is a bit weird. You could think of bar 6 and 7 as just 6 beats, is kind of how I would think of it. But again, just listen to the song, you'll get the idea. Okay, so we've got this chord here on the beginning of bar 6. What you're going to do, bar 5, you're going to put your middle finger on the 6 on the B string, and I'd use your third finger to play the 7 on the D string. 4 semiquavers, 1 E and 8, which you're going to do with your little finger, but keep that bar there. You can take these 2 fingers off, that's fine. So we're going to do 1 E and rest, 8, 5. Okay? And then we're going to just play those 5s with that bar because it's already in place. Right, let's crack on. Now the nice thing is, bar 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 are all that same. And to be honest, it's one of those things, I could sit here and go through it with you, but you've just got to work through the notes, slow it down and keep playing that riff over and over and build up the speed gradually and you will get it. So I'm going to say nothing more on that. Then bar 16, we go back to this same chord shape. Played a few too many strings there, doesn't really matter. So on bar 17, you're just going to play a few more of those 5, 5, 5 on the D, the G and the B string. Okay, I'm going to crack on. I want to get this thing done nice and quick. So on to bar 18. Right. This one just, it takes a little bit of time, but it's nothing too hard here. This is that E shape at the beginning of bar 18 is the same chord shape as the chord on the beginning of bar 16. We're just moving it back by 1, and that's how I would play it, with a bar on the 4, middle finger on the 5 on the B string, and your third finger on the 6 on the D string. Okay, so we're going to play that chord, and then we're going to just re-pick the 4 and the 6 on the G and the D, right? But I wouldn't worry too much about making this perfect. And again, if you watch my video through, I don't play this perfectly at all. The whole point is you kind of just strumming around these chords. Just try and get as accurate as possible. The weird one with this is that first chord, 1 and 2. Then we're going to slide our hand back to the 3, move our middle finger up by 1 to the 4. So we've now got 3, 3, 4, 5, like that. But the timing on those is actually slightly different. You're going to play on beat 3, 3, 4, and. So altogether you get 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and, like that. But again, I don't think they're going to mind too much if you don't play that exactly. Slide up to the 7. Go 1 and 2 for that one. Again, doesn't overly matter. Then slide back to the 5. And then this is similar to that E shape, but instead of having our middle finger on the 4 on the B string, we're going to move that up to the, what's now the 6th on the G string. G's. Play 2 A shapes like that. All right? So all together, just holding that bar the whole way through. So we're going to go 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay? Nice and easy. Now, the next part, it says cont sim. So continue similarly. I said it right, I think. Continue similarly, right? And so basically, you're just doing the same thing. E, G, D, A. So same 4 chord shapes. And I don't do like open shapes. You can do. I would just keep using those same shapes you've got there. But then just play around with them a bit. So the way to get this right is to not overthink it. Just practice those 4 chord shapes. The E, G, D. And you can just do it like that and just strum each one if you want, or you could kind of... The way to get this and figure out what you want to do for this is by playing. You're just sitting and playing. Even without the music, just sit and play those chords over and over again. Then try it with the song and just repeat this section over from bar 18 down to bar 23 and just repeat it over. Just play it over and over again until you feel comfortable with those chords. And then that bar 20, 21, 22 and 23 will all of a sudden, you won't think about it. It won't be like I have to play this, or I'm going to plan this out, or I'm going to do this here and there. No, don't. Just play. Just play what feels nice. Let's go to bar 24. And then we're going to we've just done the A shape, so that's this one, with a bar and a 5, and we're going to slide that straight up to 7. And then I used my little finger and my third finger to play the 9 and the 9 on the D and the G string. Okay? Now in terms of strumming patterns, we're going to go 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and. But again, it's one of those things where I don't think they're going to really mind that much if you kind of do. It's more about how it feels. How does it sound? Then we've got a repeat. And that repeat at the end of bar 24 takes us back up to bar 8. We played all the way through, but remember on the second time through, we missed that bar 24 out. And instead, we do another one of those E, G, D, A bits. I hope this is making sense. Right, so we do the repeat, come all the way through, miss out to bar 24 the second time through because of that one-time repeat over the top. And we go to bar 25, which we do the E, G, the D, and the A. Then we get to bar 27, and we're going to do a similar chord to what we did in 24. So we've got bar on 7, but instead of 9 and 9 this time, here, we're going to do 8 and 9, which I would play like that. Now I'm missing out my little finger. So we've got 7 and 7 being played by your first finger. And notice I'm barring basically the whole guitar, really. And I then use the top of my finger to mute the A string, right? But we have got a slightly different pattern here. So in terms of the pattern in bar 27, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3. No, I said that completely wrong. 1 and 2. That's because I'm saying and. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Oh, I got there. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So notice the first 2 rests are quaver rests or 8th note rests, but the next one is only a 16th note or a semi-quaver rest. So it's less of a gap, so it almost feels weird. So when I'm doing this, I strum it. So I'm going 1, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down. And by doing that last one as an up, down, it kind of fits in with the timing a bit better. It will just help you map it out a bit more, I think. It's not vital, it just helps me. Into bar 28 and 29. Now here's something we need to talk about. Ad lib on repeat as well. I don't think I did that. I think I completely missed that when I recorded it. Oh well. So on bar 28, we're going to, so after we've just done, now this chord here, we were on the barred 7 with the 8 and the 9. So we're going to slide that whole thing up, remove my middle finger, and then flatten that third finger down. So we've got 9 on that string played by our first finger, 11, 11, 11. Now if you accidentally hit the 11 on the high E string, try not to. And the way to not do that is just to lift this finger up just slightly so you're kind of muting it out. But if you hit it, it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter. If you can help it, do, but don't worry about it. We're going to hit this chord here on this 9, 11, 11, 11. Now again, strumming pattern, let's try and do it right, because obviously we've got to do it right the first time through, but the second and third time through you can ad lib and just do what you want. So the first time through, let's count it. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, E, and 4, and Okay? So it's a bit of a weird one, and this is where your strumming will help. You're strumming semiquavers, or you're strumming 16th notes. 1 E yanda, 2 E yanda. So we want to go down on the first one, E and there's nothing there. 2, we go down, E, down, up. So that's the first 2 beats. Then on the third beat, we're going to miss that first down strum because it's tied to the last one. So that's 3, E, and 4, and So I hope that kind of makes sense. It's really hard to do it without, well, anyway. So we go, let's do it again. So we go down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So if you slow that down, if you can work that pattern through, slow it down and then gradually speed it up. 1, 2, and 3, E, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, E, and 4, and 1. And then gradually build up the speed. I hope that helps. Bar 29. We come back to the 7. We're going to do this 8-9 chord again. But this is a weird one because this bar is a bar of 7-8. And bars of 7-8 are strange, especially when we've been kind of in 4-4 this whole time. The way you've got to think of 7-8 is it's a bar of 4-4, but you're just going to awkwardly just finish it half a beat early. I know it sounds like a really obvious thing to say to some people, but that's kind of what you're going with. As a drummer, that's how I always did it. I was just playing and I would just awkwardly finish on the and of 4, but make that beat 1. So let's get the timing right. Let's get the pattern right first. So we've got a bar on 7, we're going to play 8 and 9. So we're going to go 1, I'm going to count it as if it was a bar of 4-4. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and We're going to miss out that and on the end and then go back to that chord. So let's do 28 and 29 together, slowly. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, E, and 4, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, 1, 2. It's a weird one. It takes a bit of getting used to. The main thing I would say for bar 28, 29, keep your hand moving up and down. Don't try and do this, because it just becomes awkward. You'll lose all your feel. And although it might be easier for you to just do that as a da-da-da-da, don't. Get into this habit of moving your hand up and down the whole time, okay? And that way, you're just playing the notes when you need them, but this hand doesn't have to do anything. You don't have to think about this hand, because it's just doing this. How easy is that? And then you just need to strum when you need that strum. It will just make the whole song feel and sound better. Okay, so we got, I'm not going to do that again. We do that 3 times through, and on the second and third time through, feel free to like improvise around that. And when I say improvise, just like, again, just comes with practice. That was a bit rubbish. Repeat that bit round and just play it over and over again, and just work on getting that timing back to this 9, 11, 11, 11 chord at the beginning of bar 28. It's always a bit awkward. It just takes practice. After the third time we've played it, we just then hit that 9, what is that? It's an F sharp chord. Something like that. I don't know. We're going to hit that chord there and just let it ring out for 4 bars, 4 beats. Okay? Cool. Now here's where you need your pedal. And I didn't mention this at the start, I probably should have done. We're going to hit the hopefully you have a distortion pedal or some sort of pedal where you can switch your distortion off, or some way you could reach over and switch it off your amp if that's possible. Not the ideal way of doing it, especially as it's okay for that bit because you've got a nice big gap because you hit that chord, lean over, click the distortion off, and then you're ready for the next bit. But the bigger problem is at the end of this section, before it goes into the solo, you need to go back into distortion. That is where your problem lies. So if you have a pedal, great. Well, let's go through these chords. We've got an A7 chord, which is just like an A. We just get rid of our middle finger. I did this with my first and second finger though. Then we just lift that finger off. The A7 sus2. And we're going to play this kind of D sus2 shape with a 3 and a 2 here. I'm not going to go into how to do those because I think you can work that out yourself. Let me do it again. Now this chord is not the D sus2. Play it like a D5 chord, and you're just letting those notes ring out. So you've got like a D5 chord here, so my finger's on the 2 on the G string, and we're kind of doing that. And then that repeats on the next bit, but you can just, again, play around with the feel of it. Add a few extra strums in. Do what you want with it for bar 33 and 34. Hey, just came to edit the video for this and it just wasn't there. So I'm going to just quickly do it here on camera. So we just got to bar 33 and 34. Then we get to bar 35. And it basically, this line, 35, 36, 37 and 38 are the same as 31, 32, 33 and 34, but it's just 2 steps up. So you're going to be barring with your first finger across 2, 2 and 2, and then playing that A7 shape in front of it, like in bar 31. You're just playing it 2 steps up to make it a B7 shape, and then it's virtually exactly the same thing. You got the B7 shape, then you take your finger off to make it a B7 sus2, and then that kind of E sus2 shape on the next part. So it's virtually the same thing. You're just repeating it 2 steps up. So I hope that makes sense. Stay tuned. I'm going to end this video here. The next video will be talking you through the whole of the solo, which comes straight after this bit here. So I'm going to do another whole video on technically the last 4 or 5 bars of this song, because this is the bit that people I think are going to really struggle with the most. So stay tuned, look out for part 2, and thanks for watching. Peace.